Steve Phillips is a super-geek and started podcasting a Transformers-themed show over 20 years ago, before Joe Rogan and Adam Curry. He co-founded GeekCast Radio Network, is an accomplished voice actor, and has been hosting the Altered Geek podcast series since 2012. And he's got a day job, communications and content developer at Breeze Thru Car Wash. At Breeze Thru, he's a creator and communicator and even gets to do things like teach kids about podcasting. I met Steve through my friend Wade Keith, also from Breeze Thru, and after Wade came on my show last year, he was eager that I should follow up and get the local podfather on the show, and Steve didn't disappoint. You'll meet Gollum from Lord of the Rings in this one, and the Joker, the Mark Hammil version, and many other characters beloved by geeks everywhere. Steve and our producer Ben had some great conversations between segments, but if I'm honest, I was in a little over my head on this one. It was a ton of fun, though, with laughs and podcaster insider secrets, so please enjoy my conversation with the NoCo podfather, Steve Phillips. Welcome to the Loco Experience Podcast. On this show, you'll get to know business and community leaders from all around northern Colorado and beyond. Our guests share their stories, and through it all, you'll be inspired and entertained. These conversations are real and raw, and no topics are off limits. So pop in a breath mint and get ready to meet our latest guest. Welcome back to the Loco Experience Podcast. My guest today is Steve Phillips, and Steve is the co-founder and jack-of-all-trades tech fixer at the GeekCast Radio Network.
Yep.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Also, communications and content developer at Breeze Thru Car Wash.
Oh, yeah.
And recommended to the show by a previous guest to the show, Wade Keith.
Yep.
So he says you're the podfather of northern Colorado.
I don't know if I would be, but I mean, I'm a transplant here in Colorado, but
you've been doing it longer than just about anybody in this region.
Yeah, about 20 years.
20 years.
Yep.
So that's circa
2006.
So that is, gosh, that's like almost when they started. Like
Oh, yeah.
That's pre-Joe Rogan.
Oh, yeah,
That's
totally.
pre-Adam Carolla.
Yeah.
Is it even really?
Well, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's before a lot of those guys got involved. I think they were closer to like the 2010 era.
Really?
Yeah.
So what were people doing back in those days?
So back in the early days of podcasting, there are some that actually predate that, and I found out recently that there was some pre-recorded audio that were transferred over the internet, like early 90s, late 90s.
Okay.
But they weren't really a podcast. There was no
They weren't
RSS
there to be
feed.
found or whatever.
Yeah. And so I actually got started by doing podcasting through another organization, a huge Transformers fan. So I auditioned for a hosting gig on one of the networks that I saw.
Like the cars that turn into robots?
Oh, yeah.
things?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so they had me doing a audio drama podcast where I would do the voices and read some fan fiction type stuff.
Okay.
And then so I got started doing that, and then I was like, oh, this is fun. And I was doing voice acting for a fan dubbing organization too.
Okay.
And so yeah, like back in those days of podcasting, like you had to write your own RSS feeds, you had to
I don't
manually
know what that means.
So it's all automated now, which is wonderful.
I just have a subscription to a Buzzsprout or
but I mean it literally, like, it's super easy to publish things now. Back then you didn't have that whole interface. Like you had, you could host it on your own website.
Okay.
In the back end in a folder structure, and then you had to write the code that these places would get picked up, and then you would submit it to like iTunes or submit it to TuneIn or Spreaker, all these different places.
Okay.
And so, yeah, it was very tedious to have to do that.
Interesting. And so what was what were you trying to share when you first started sharing?
So my first solo podcast was a Transformers related podcast because that was what I was into. Started that in 2008.
Okay.
And then from there, I met a bunch of people on Twitter at the time over the same mutual interest.
Oh, which was brand new too.
Yeah.
But you could do hashtag podcast or something
No,
and find them, or you just by watching feeds and stuff?
Yeah, I mean, there weren't a lot
Hashtags
of people.
didn't really.
No, not really. And there weren't a lot of people on there. And so I just kind of
right.
started searching Transformers, and then people, it would come up with a slew of people that were interested, and I just started hashing it out, talking to them. And so then one of them was like, I want to do a podcast on this. And I'm like, I think I can help you with that. And so I had to teach him remotely because, like, a lot of the guys I record with are not even in the same area.
Right. And
And-
Zoom didn't really exist.
No,
then.
so we use Skype.
Okay, Skype did.
Yeah, but there was no way to record it, so we had to both synchronize our like Audacity on both ends,
Okay.
and then he'd have to send me the file, and I'd have to put it together.
Wow.
So it was just like the whole thing was tedious. Like there was no automation in WordPress on some of that stuff. There was
It had to be a passion project.
100%. Like I don't even know how I had time to do all that.
Right.
Like I'm so fortunate for all the automation now.
Right. So we'll get into the kind of the journey of that, I
Yeah.
think. But I think probably for you, I'm going to want to explore like a lot of the journey, like what got you Transformers curious and everything. And so earlier than normal, we'll probably jump in the time machine and kind
for
of
sure.
roll through the story. How did you and when did you to shift to the less fascinating part, the day job? How did you get connected with Breeze Thru, and how long have you been?
So I'm coming up on my 3-year mark at Breeze Thru.
Okay.
And honestly, when I was, I actually moved here because it's kind of a long story. I moved here in June of 2019, and I used to live in Michigan, like in the Flint area, like Flushing, Michigan.
Okay.
And I had recently come off of a job loss. Like, and there's not a whole lot of jobs around where I was at. I was applying across the country, and I applied to one, and it was producing podcast audio dramas here in Loveland, Colorado.
Okay.
And so I got that job, worked there for about 3.5 years. They had another layoff.
Okay.
I got let go. So I took that opportunity to spend more time with my kids and their school stuff and kind of brush up, do, certifications and things like that. And then applied to a bunch of places and kind of hoping that I would get an interview somewhere, and using my credentials of different marketing and podcasting and graphic design.
You got a lot of content.
Oh, yeah.
Really fix anything and figure out any software.
Oh, yeah.
Seems like your personality.
Oh yeah, like I don't take no for an answer. Like I will look for how I can, get it fixed,
Yeah.
Figure it out. So anyways, I applied to a bunch of different places, and Breeze Thru called, and it was between Breeze Thru and a radio station
Okay.
in like the Thornton area. And I was really wanting to get into radio, but they were unable to budge on a couple of things. And actually my interview was with Wade at Breeze Thru,
Sold
and
it.
it honestly sold it for me because like he was super genuine and he cared. Like the whole process, like through both of my wife's, like, I know it's a car wash, but I just feel like they're genuine there.
Yeah.
Like, and I said, I feel it too. I'm going to turn down the other one. And so I took it, and Wade was like the best at teaching me everything, like the ropes of Breeze Thru,
Right.
like
You knew
all
nothing
of the,
about car washes. But
no,
you
I
had
knew
to.
nothing. And like, I didn't realize there was car wash conventions, and they took me
Right,
to one, and
sure.
I was like, this is crazy, but it's it's like Wade says, you don't go looking for the car wash industry, it finds you.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I get to do that. I get to do a lot of the graphic work. I get to do a lot of the internal communications with the team and things of how we're trying to, nurture the, the team building and our values and our mission with everything. And I actually do a lot of the stuff with Wade still, even despite the internal communications part. So like a lot of the events over the summer where you see Bubsy,
Yep.
the Bubble Man.
Yep.
If you see Wade, and it's like at the Lagoon series, or you see him at the Loveland Music Fest,
Yep.
I'm in the suit.
And you also see Bubsy.
I'm in the suit. Yeah.
Fair.
So
So you're his lackey, in,
Yes.
in a manner of speaking.
Yeah.
He needs something, you make it happen in that
Yeah.
contents and graphics space.
Oh, for sure.
Especially. Cool. Well, that sounds like a pretty fun job. What? Tell me about like you. Married? You wearing
Yes.
a ring?
Yep.
Children?
yes. So I actually met my wife in high school.
Okay.
So we're high school sweethearts. We met
Awesome.
in gym class. I was like the nerdy 12th grader that took forever to wait to take gym class. Like I
Okay.
didn't take. I was holding out like hockey would possibly be there for sports, and they never brought the program back in our
Okay.
high school. So I ended up with a year of gym,
Okay.
and she was taking it to get it out of the way, and she was a sophomore, and we started dating, and then we ended up getting married years later, and
You went off to college, but you stayed long
yeah.
distance. or
So I
whatever?
actually went
by.
to community college.
Right on.
But I waited because we couldn't afford it, and I was working full time and just all kinds of
Figure it out.
life things to figure out.
Sure.
So I went back to school when my first son was born, and then it took me 4 years to do a 2-year associate's degree, but I was working full time and had to fit it in there, and thankfully my job was very flexible with it.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I have two boys.
Okay.
One's 13, one's 10.
Oh, fun ages.
Yep.
They like coming to Colorado.
Oh, yeah.
Were they good with the move when you came?
So they were. We moved about 8 years ago.
Okay,
so they
so
were
it was 2 and 5 at the time. They didn't have much voice in the conversation at the time.
No. But they've learned over the years of like, oh, this is really nice, like being outside, having sunshine, like because in Michigan you didn't get a whole lot. It was very overcast,
Right, very short summer.
Yeah, and so you're just it's kind of depressing almost with the weather, and then you come here and you're like, oh, I have the beauty of the mountains. I have, you can go outside every day and look at the mountains or the scenery, and it's a different look every day. Like,
Right.
I mean, it's great. So
I was noting just yesterday, it was kind of a hazy day, and the faraway peaks were so just kind of mysterious, and the close-in peaks were just really easy to spot. And it was, I don't know, one of those, like, I haven't seen that picture before. I've seen this picture a whole bunch of times, but you're right, it does change just about every day.
and then the sunsets here are great, no matter where you're at.
Dig it. So yeah, let's actually go back to Michigan.
Okay.
And jump in the time machine right from the start and hit was it born and raised in that Flint area?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So tell me about that circumstance. Maybe earliest memories was a question I was surprised by the other day.
Earliest memory.
Yeah. How old were you during those earliest memories?
Probably, I think as far back as I remember is like my 5th birthday, just getting toys and stuff like that.
Okay. So what was the circumstance in your family? Did you have siblings also?
Yeah.
And oldest, youngest, middle?
I'm the oldest child.
Okay.
I have 2 younger brothers.
Okay.
One's 3 years difference.
You're
one's
a
5 years.
boy heavy family
Yes.
ranch here.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, my brother has 3 boys too, so it's
right?
yeah.
And what was your parents' place in life? Do they both work?
So my dad worked,
Okay.
and then around the time I was turning 10, 11 years old, my parents got divorced.
Okay.
So that threw things into a kind of a tailspin. So I kind of had to
Go
grow
with
up fast.
Mom or dad or switch?
So I lived with my mom, and then we went to my dad's on the weekend, and then years later both got remarried. But it was a difficult time growing up. I kind of, because the internet was new, I kind of leaned into that, like creating like alternate personas to kind of live online, like vicariously.
Yeah. You were an early adopter of that kind of more common behavior in today's world.
So my dad actually got a computer when I was 5.
Okay.
And
which was what, circa
early 90s, like
right.
86, so like 92, 93,
okay,
like somewhere in there.
Yep.
Yeah. And so we had an old computer then, and then I pretty much had computers since.
Yeah.
It was to the point in my elementary school I was the IT guy when my dad went to work. Like
really?
Yeah, because he worked for General Motors, and
okay.
then I knew enough about computers, so they were like, "Hey, Steve, we need you to do this," and it was all DOS-based systems, and so like I learned how to code it and build them, and so like
oh wow.
So I just built a brand new computer in January too for myself at home. And
gotcha.
Yeah.
Did you do that as a side hustle? I knew some people that would build computers for folks in those early mid 90s kind of timelines and stuff. You could make a buck just ordering parts and putting them together.
I mean, I didn't do that as a side hustle. I mean, I sold my old
ones. A lot
of
computers.
Yeah, I just built a lot of computers.
For me, and then I sold them when I was done with them and wanted something faster.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
I still have an old one from like 2011 sitting in my office at home, and my kids use it.
Really?
And I was able to, I had like bottom level parts.
Something in 2011. Is that like floppy disks still then? Or
they still had that, but it was still like DVD player,
okay,
so
DVD
you had
hard drivers.
Yeah, so they had a lot of that stuff. It was kind of early SSDs and stuff like that. But I was able to go on eBay in January and spend $60 and put the top level processor and the top level graphics card in it. And my kids have a brand new machine, that they can play with and use.
Interesting. So that was kind of your place in all the way from 10, 12 years old was kind of on the leading edge of tech and investigating this thing that was called the computer that was revolutionizing work, especially in home and games.
Oh, yeah.
And was the Transformers also part of that?
Yeah.
Going the way back too?
I started building websites because of the show.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So
the television, the
Yeah.
movies,
So
or the
the-
TV show first, yeah.
So there was a cartoon called Beast Wars Transformers, and it was with animals, like in the 90s.
Okay.
It actually caused the rebirth of the franchise in the mid-90s, and it was a CGI program.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it came out in 1996,
I had no idea.
and that was what got me into Transformers. Then I watched the older stuff, and then I got into everything after it. But it kind of gave a rebirth to the franchise, and then it kind of fizzled out again until the live action movies in 2007.
Gotcha. Which became very popular.
Oh yeah.
Huge, really,
Mm-hmm.
probably. So you were like carrying the candle through that,
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
through those seasons, kind of to a certain extent. And like, was it like strictly a hobby? And did like you built a website to do what? Like,
So I built it, I think, just to kind of have a voice.
okay,
Like have an opinion, have a voice, write about it.
okay, and blog probably too. That was
mhm.
pretty common in those days, right? Or
Yeah.
is it already fading? I forget when blogs were popular.
They were popular in the kind. It was message boards that were popular until like the mid, like about 2007 ish, and then
Okay.
they started. I mean, there's still some around that are kind of established, but
Sure.
for the most part, blogs have been. I mean, they're still around too, but a lot of it's social media posting and
Sure.
things like that. Now they've kind of taken its place.
That's how people express themselves.
Yeah.
Because ultimately that's what most of this stuff is.
Oh, yeah.
Whether it's TikTok videos to podcasts to blogs.
It's
to-
all opinion.
Right, right.
Yeah.
It's like hey, there's 8 billion people in the world, but notice me
Yeah.
a little bit and notice the Transformers. They're cool. You guys
Mm-hmm.
should like them too. And build community around those kind of shared interests and whatever.
100%.
So did people like contact you and stuff and like, or
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, so we used to, like I said, I used to be a part of fan dubs. I used to, which is essentially they would take like the Japanese animation of series.
Okay.
Somebody would translate them. They would give us our roles, and we would.
Oh, that's how you got into voice acting.
That's
stuff.
how I got into it. And actually a lot of the guys that did it at the same time I did moved to Hollywood and actually got professional with it.
Oh, okay.
I was kind of too scared to do that. I was
Okay.
like, I'm from Flint. Like, I don't know if I can afford, to go without work.
Yep.
So they.
And you were with your high school girlfriend.
Yeah, and
Still
so
married
I-
by now. I guess. Yeah.
And so we were I was kind of like, I don't know if I want to jump into that.
Yeah.
So I did the podcast because it was kind of safe and I could do both.
And what were you working in, like in your early career?
So I worked.
Because you didn't make any money on the podcasting
No.
stuff, really.
So from like 2002 to 2010, I worked at Little Caesars.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was a closer there and I worked there. And then in 2006 to 2016, I worked for a car dealership
Okay.
in Flint, Michigan.
Like in the tech space, like you were a computer guy, or were you selling
No.
cars? Or
No, so funny enough, I got hired at the car dealership as a car porter. So I was washing the used cars.
Okay.
And then they found out that I knew a lot about computers.
Right.
And about a month and a half into working there, the guy that used to print their window stickers and did their IT stuff left to go get a different job.
Okay.
So that got added to my role.
Right.
And so like I got additional pay on top of it to be the IT guy and to do the window decals. And then eventually I was doing like car rentals for like their new car demos. And I had to create that whole process because it didn't exist.
Yeah.
They were just like, GM's like, we want to rent cars, make it happen. And there was like no guidance. And so I was like, all right, I got to do research and figure out how to make this work.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That seems unlikely that GM wouldn't have like, here's the program.
Yeah.
Modified.
At least not that I was aware
Not
of.
that these guys do
Yeah.
anyway, but
Yeah. So, and as far as I know, they're still using all the same stuff I gave them.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I don't,
Interesting.
yeah.
So, and I imagine that was, did you do like the online car listings and stuff too, or that's more of a feed kind of thing, element?
It got auto fed in from a system
Yeah,
as
that
it
makes
came
sense.
in. However, there was no customized details for any of the vehicles, and there was no pictures.
Oh,
So I had to do all that.
right. That's
Yeah.
what I was wondering. All the content and communications and content development. Mm-hmm. Kind of
Yep.
like it was the early phases of building that career path, really, and that overcoming of no,
Yeah.
always. And so let's see. This is circa when you said 2010.
I worked there from like 2006 to 2016.
Okay, so for a good long while there
Yeah.
as well. And and the kids didn't come along right away. Then sounds like
So
right?
the first one was born in November of 2012.
Okay, so you had a few. You had several years together as a couple.
Yeah.
Married before the kids came
Yeah.
along. And was your wife working as
Yes.
well? And what
Yeah.
was she doing?
She was working for Chase Bank.
Okay.
So
she had the better employment benefits and stuff like that.
yes,
Generally
like
speaking.
I didn't have any good benefits at that time. Like
Yeah.
it was hers were actually really good for being part time. Like
Cool.
she got really good benefits.
And then what was the motivating factor to the next chapter for you? And what was going on the side, like with the GeekCast going on?
So
Like,
I
so
started.
yeah.
So I started that in kind of April. It was more like we kind of dedicated June 1st as our launch date
Okay.
in 2009.
9. Okay.
Yeah. So
And it was just you creating content then, or you had bonded other people together, or what was this? Why was
So-
it a network?
so we actually bonded with other people over Twitter.
Okay. Yeah.
So,
You
funny
started
enough-
sharing that.
So like there was one guy that was into Transformers like me, so we did content, and then we found another guy that was into it, so we did that with them. We networked with a Canadian podcast,
Okay.
and we would listen to them because they were live on the radio at the time. They were in college,
Ooh.
so we would listen to them and we would collaborate.
Also about Transformers.
No, they were just general geek culture. But we
Okay.
wanted to do that too. We wanted to do geek culture. We wanted to do movies. We wanted to do TV. And there was another guy that he was kind of a animation historian. So we started a cartoon podcast. We started,
Okay.
and we just
Interesting.
did reviews on all different stuff and would get
Yeah.
like promo materials, get products sent, get all kinds of cool features that were perks to
right
doing this
Yeah. Yeah.
and interviewing people. That was awesome too, because we're sitting here talking to like people we heard in animation
Right.
as kids, and we're
Yeah,
like,
you recognize the voice. That's like the dude from this show.
Yeah.
Right.
and so like I always loved doing that. Like I mean, a couple of years ago we talked to like Tom Bergeron, or we talked to different actors. And,
Yeah.
yeah. So
How fascinating. I've never had those kind of interactions, I guess.
oh, they're so fun. Like,
I've been so local. Like I touch people
Mm-hmm.
around me, and I've almost rarely built like connections with people outside of my real sphere. Mm-hmm. You're in many ways not opposite land. I'm sure you had close friends in Flint and whatever
Yeah.
else, but you have a very expansive, almost worldwide network.
Yeah.
And it's more based on interests and connection there.
Mm-hmm.
And so, what did that mean to become like the launch? Like, so there was one website where all these different channels could be on and
Yeah.
hosted, because there wasn't really like a Buzzsprout or Apple Podcasts or anything like that
I
yet.
think Buzzsprout and some of those were coming along around that time, around the 2009, 2010. But I wasn't like I was doing this on a budget, and I was
Right.
like, I'm already paying for a website.
Yep.
I can figure all this out.
Yeah.
I used
Yeah.
to build like bulletin boards. I used to build websites. So I was like, I think I can figure this out. So I transitioned to using WordPress.
Okay.
They had plugins that I was like, all right, what can I cobble together? And in a lot of ways, like, I mean, you had to embed like even YouTube with a plugin. Like nowadays, it's just built into WordPress. You don't even have to have a plugin.
Sure.
But back then, you had to have everything as a plugin.
Okay.
And so like it was different, and couldn't synchronize like RSS feeds and have them automatically pulled in because it required somebody to code
So
it.
when there was a new episode, you had to like go in
I
there
had to go in manually. Yeah.
do that thing. And were you carrying content like the Canadian radio show and stuff like that too?
So I wasn't synchronizing them, but we did have like a kind of a content submission channel. So we had like a G.I. Joe podcast that wanted to be part of it. We had a Ninja Turtles podcast that wanted to be part of it.
Yeah.
And some of them have come and gone over the years. Like there's a Doctor Who one that still partners with us, and we synchronize their stuff, and vice versa. And but yeah, I mean it's kind of a fluctuating channel. Like I've got some YouTubers that are on our channel or on our website that
And
have
it's
their
all
stuff.
ultimately the core of it is really celebrating geek culture.
Yes. Yep. And kind of giving them a home. I mean, there's no fee to join it. It's it's just collaborative fun with other people and sharing the opinions, and I'm enjoying this. Like I don't.
Is Revenge of the Nerds, that old movie, is that kind of like a rallying call of sorts for
Maybe.
for this group? I don't know. Are you familiar?
Yes, I am familiar.
Okay, good. Yeah,
Yeah.
I thought I was maybe too old.
No, I've seen a lot of movies that I probably more than I remember at this point. Like
Right.
Because we've reviewed so many different films. I mean, I'm going through. I've never watched like the Mission Impossible films
Oh, really?
until recently.
Oh, wow.
So
That had been quite a adventure, right? Like
Yeah.
quite a series to just dip into and then stick with.
and I told my friend, and of course he's like, "Guess what we're doing next?" And I was like, "Yeah, I know."
Which one do you recommend the best?
Out of the series,
Yeah.
I've only gotten in. I've only seen
Oh,
the
you're in
first
the
5.
midst. Okay.
Yeah.
Is there 7?
8?
8 now.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm 3 down still, but that's all Netflix
Gotcha.
has right
I think
now.
I
is
might
the
be
first.
3 down myself,
Yeah.
actually. By the way, we have a gift I want to bestow upon
thank you.
This is, which you told me you're not really a hot sauce fan, so that might be re-gifted, but some
Thank you.
Loco Think Tank cups,
Awesome.
some Loco Experience shades to keep you cool, and some good stuff there. So, who do you think you'll give the hot sauce to?
I don't know. I'm sure there's somebody that's going to enjoy it though at the office.
Maybe just leave it at the office.
Yeah. Well, if I leave it in the
Sure.
kitchen, I'm sure it'll come up missing.
Just go away.
Yeah.
Gotcha. You could label it like
Yeah.
this is for the break room only.
That's true too.
Then everybody can have a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So was there like a desire to? You said co-founder of
Yes.
this. So tell me about that. And who is your co-founder?
So the other guy that I record with is he goes by an acronym. It's like TFG and Mike. So it's my friend Mike Blanchard on Twitter that I actually
Okay.
met. He's the reason why we started the network to begin with, is
Okay.
because we were both wanting to do different things. We were wanting to, discuss a lot of the same stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of the technical guy, and he's the one that like has a lot more free time than I do.
Gotcha.
So like he does some of the social, he does some of that stuff. Like I still help with the images. I do the whole website.
The techie stuff you
All the
still
techie
mostly
stuff.
do, but
Yeah.
if he's smart enough to do it, he does it.
Yes.
He's got more time.
Yes.
And so then what's your you have a show that the two of you do regularly together then? Is that
Yeah. So I have a we do the Transformers podcast still.
You still do?
Yeah, I still do.
Okay,
I've,
okay.
I've tried to actually get rid of that show like 3 times, and then
Okay.
people would email us and say, "Hey, can you bring it back?" And I was like, "All right, well, I got to bring it back, but I don't necessarily have to go hog wild. Like some of them are very religious on weekly."
right?
And I'm like, if there's not enough to go on, I'm not going to record because I need to be involved and I need to be, all in.
There needs to be more fresh content kind of
Yeah.
coming out and stuff like that.
Yeah. So, I mean, I have to be very interested in what I'm talking about because, like, over the years, I've had so much that I have talked about. I'm like, I don't know
I
if
want
I
to talk about that again.
Yeah, it's kind of that.
Yeah.
And so, like, so we still do that show. I do a show called Altered Geek, which is kind of just whatever's going on, tech, pop culture, any of those things
Mm-hmm.
kind of gets covered. It's kind of my soapbox.
That's you just by yourself.
It can be. He
Sometimes.
joins me sometimes,
Oh, gotcha.
but
Okay.
yeah, but
And how do you like and then are you also on like Apple Podcasts or Spotify?
oh
and
yeah,
stuff
we're on
like that?
everything.
So the website that hosts, that's like the home base
Yes.
in some respects, but ultimately the content is all people pick it up from
Oh, yeah.
Spotify or something like that
Yeah.
more commonly.
Yeah, so they can get it from any other location. I mean, we've got it on all those. We've got it on TuneIn. Just came out today or recently.
And are you guys together in person like we are here today, or are you
No.
Zooming? He's somewhere far away. Or?
So since Skype shut down, we use Discord.
Okay.
So we're on there, and there's like a bot that you can run, and it'll record the whole audio track.
Okay.
I know how to do the video side of things, but we haven't really dabbled into that. And
Right.
I'm planning on doing some video content for the site again soon. But it's that'll be more of a solo endeavor just because it's harder to coordinate things like that.
Tell me about Discord.
So Discord is
That's where I go get hookers or drugs or something. No.
it's a gamer
Oh, it's gamer
social.
stuff.
It's
Okay.
it's a gamer like instant messaging app. More or less.
okay.
And it has different channels. Like you can have like with one app, you can have a bunch of different. Like I can have one for GeekCast Radio Network. I can have one for, other websites that have their own
Okay.
their own kind of forum.
Yep.
And so but it moves at the speed of instant messaging. And so we do that because it's a lot easier to have all of us connect on there, and then it also records.
Yeah,
So it's
yeah.
just a lot simpler.
So you can have 6 people like
Yeah.
just on your phones, I guess, or on
Yeah.
your PCs, probably.
You can do the PC. There have been instances where I've been at work or something, and I've and I leave, and it's later, and they'll be recording, and I've actually crashed some podcasts that were live, just by being on Discord and getting
really?
on, and I'll just pop on my phone and I'll just put it on speaker and I'll just start talking, and they're recording it on their end. Like I can't record it from my phone, but
right.
But I can
you
join
can be
them
in there.
Yes.
And they record your voice and stuff?
Yeah.
You're still part of it?
Yep.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's a pretty handy tool, actually.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, it seems like you've got a decent amount of reach. Like, people are tuning into your programs. It probably isn't, like, reach, because it's kind of niche. It's kind of hard to monetize in the traditional way, having ad pop-ups and stuff. Or do you do that a bit?
So I've tried doing the ads on the website, but I've always had this kind of aversion to it. It's like, do I enjoy it when I go to other people's website?
Right.
And it's like, I don't. Like, I personally use an ad blocker. So, like, I use Brave, the Brave browser.
Right,
and I'm like, so if I'm doing that, do I want to do that to other people? And so I'm like, it kind of becomes this, like, consciousness of, like, I don't really feel good about doing it.
Yeah.
And then the podcast, we used to have, when we switched from going fully hosted on the website, we were approached by Blog Talk Radio around 2013, 2014.
Okay.
And they eventually merged with Spreaker, who then was bought by iHeartRadio, and like during COVID.
Okay.
And so we had Blog Talk Radio, which was decent, but it wasn't fun to operate because you had to have a different login for each show, and at that time we had like 30.
Okay.
Like not going concurrently, but we had 30 different programs, some that had ended naturally and some that were still ongoing. So it was a train wreck to...
My password is I forgot my password.
Yeah. It was like, which one did I log into? Like, I don't... Yeah. So then they moved us to Spreaker because they have a network thing, and we were a part of their Prime program because you have to have so many downloads to be a part of the Prime program.
Okay.
And so... but the Prime program is free.
Oh, I got it.
And so I was like, oh, okay, I don't have to pay anything. I get free hosting, but then I just have to deal with ads, but I get some of the kickback.
Yeah.
And then when it got bought by iHeart, like I love iHeart, but when it got bought by it, the amount of ads like
tripled or
they were like almost 10x on some of it. And I was like, this is ridiculous.
I can't put my listeners through this.
And I felt
I'm not going to have any listeners pretty soon.
And that was the problem.
To this barrage of commercials.
Yeah, we were having that problem too, and it was getting too hard to manage it because you had to have the multiple ads like constantly, and it would interrupt the flow of the program. And I was just like, all right, I need a different platform. So I did a bunch of research. I switched us to like RSS.com.
Okay.
And I have monetization turned on some of the programs. I have it on all of the outros of all the shows, but I have it on like our retired shows more so.
Oh.
So I'm not agitating people with the new stuff. It's more so like the backlog.
Oh, like if you want to go listen to that old shit, you're going to listen to commercials.
Yeah.
And it does. Are your shows a lot of topical stuff too? So if somebody's searching for a specific thing, they might just find it that way. Most
of it's evergreen unless it's like something that's covering like the news in whatever that industry, whether it be Transformers or pop culture.
Right.
So like a lot of it, like, I mean, we might have a breakdown on like an episodic breakdown of like a certain like Batman show or, certain movies, a series of movies. And so they're very evergreen. So it's not like it ages.
Yeah. What is the philosophical underpinnings to Optimus Prime's approach to the world?
Yeah.
Right. Isn't that the guy that was like the truck guy?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I am Optimus Prime.
You can do voices for us.
Yeah.
How many?
Have you heard Mark Hamill's Joker?
Oh, from Batman?
The animated series. Or the Arkham games.
I don't know. Maybe I'll tell you if you share it with me. I don't know if these microphones got the range you need.
Well, it might. I did it for a monologue because I had acting classes was a part of my degree.
Okay.
And they were like, it had to be a long enough monologue. And I was like, what can I use that I have the range for? Because I'm like, I have to be passionate about it to remember it. But I was also like, I'll memorize it because it's voice. So like, it was like, today is the day the clown cried.
Oh, yeah.
And they cried not for the passing of one man, but for the death of a dream. And
that is interesting to hear those sounds coming out of your voice hole.
So like I used to get in trouble too from doing like Gollum from Lord of the Rings, like in group settings.
Get you, my pretty.
Yeah, he'd be like, "The stairs are from us. The stairs, my precious, my precious, stupid habits." You know, and so like I used to watch so many cartoons and so many movies as a kid. Like I just started because I would just play, and that's actually how when I worked at a car dealership, I would be listening to actors talking, and like on some podcasts that they were on, and one of them was like, he talked so fast because he played 6 different characters in Transformers Generation 1 in the 80s.
Okay.
The voice director thought he was clipping over another actor. And so they were like, how fast can you switch the voice? And he would literally talk to himself sequentially between characters immediately. Like, and so I would practice it. And I walked by a car one day that had the window rolled down, and I'm not paying any attention. Like, I'm just walking from one building to the other on the lot. And and I'm talking in 4 or 5 different voices to myself, arguing. And so like, then the person just like, I noticed out of the corner of my eye, and this person's like, and I just like, and walked away.
It wasn't a talent recruiter for
no. I was like, I just scared that customer. Like,
that's really interesting. I would say I'm more talented than most at imitating musicians. Mm-hmm. Like I don't have the Michael Jackson range that I used to have, or even the Chris Isaac really, but I'm decent at like imitating the sounds that the popular music has. But not even close to like what that sounded like to me. Like that was pretty impressive.
Thank you.
You've probably got 1,000 of them.
I've got quite a few. Like there are times we'll be talking to people online, and I'll go on mute, and then I'll come off, and I'll have some voice that I've been toying around with just because I'm like in the middle of just thought. Is it always imitation, or you create new stuff I've done
too,
both.
just for kicks? Like create characters that go with the voice, it feels like.
Yeah, so I've done both. Like I like doing the imitations. Like there's like Krang from like Ninja Turtles, the brain guy that he's like, and he's like, Saki, this is Krang. Like, you know, and stuff like that. So like I've listened to enough of these guys that I can pick it up pretty easily. But I when I produced that audio drama in Loveland, we would often end up without characters, and especially during COVID, we didn't have a lot of actors.
Right.
So I actually, over the course of the 3.5 years, I played 26 characters.
Oh wow.
So like at one point they wrote a talking parakeet.
Okay.
And the director's like, I don't know what to do with this.
Right.
Like,
no idea what the
and
vocal tone of it talk.
I was like, I got you. Like, and he's like, you're serious? And I was like, yeah. My aunt used to have a bird that would talk.
Okay.
And we would talk to it in the same tone. So it'd be like, you know, hello, you know, and so I started doing that. And then there was an episode where we had to have it get vacuumed up and screeching. And he's like, I don't know how to do that either. And I just like did this air thing where it's like, and he's like, yeah, great, longer. I was like, I gave him one, and I'm like, all right, my throat hurts, can't do it.
Right.
But I wrote an episode too where I had to talk to myself in multiple characters. So I had one that was this, and then I had one that was this, and he would talk to this, you know, and then the other guy would kind of talk like this, and then they would argue with each other, you know, and so like they're all me. Like I didn't imitate, but they're
like it feels. Do you write stuff too?
Yeah,
like write stories and whatnot.
So like my kids used to go to a private school, and I wrote, like they would have spirit days.
Okay.
Of like certain things they would be, you know, concentrating on for those days, and I wrote an episode for every day, and I would do all the voices.
It feels like especially with AI imagery stuff, with you creating all those voices, like you could do a 20 episode of an hour each fairy tale story or something like that with all these different characters, and the AI machines could create all the bodies and the figures and the action based on the stuff that's happening, even almost just from the narrative story.
Well, and now AI can even, like, you can feed it 5 to 10 minutes of any of the audio and have it replicate somebody's voice. And
Oh,
they
right.
can do it live. Like you can have it overlay somebody else,
Right.
which there's a lot of lawsuits going on with that now because people are doing that with actors' voices that are copyrighting. Like, I don't see the big issue if you're like imitating it and you're like,
right,
because you're not.
Yeah, if you imitate Tom Cruise, nobody
Yeah.
should be able to sue you for sounding
like-
too much like Tom Cruise.
or like Casey Kasem, whatever,
Yes, I like it.
So if you do stuff like that, like it's
Can you do Donald Trump?
no, I haven't really tried,
Want
but I'm
to.
like, in acting class, I did like a Casey Kasem because I was like super nervous about being in front of like 30 people doing it, and
Yeah.
they were like, all right, we got to do this other monologue, and I was like, I had a piece of paper and a microphone, and that's not actually plugged in, and I'm just staring at the paper that's blank and just reciting it, today, doing the top 40 countdown,
Yep.
or Arnold Schwarzenegger,
Get
down, get to the chopper,
Pretty solid. Pretty solid. That's really, you've got a talent for audio sound, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
You can hear it accurately so you can recreate it.
Yeah, and it's funny, like I love audio, so like that's why I stick with podcasting as an audio format.
Yeah.
So like I do.
So you're not driven to try to do the video portion necessarily because the sound is your special sauce.
Yeah. Well, and I feel like it's quicker. Like I can edit it a lot faster than my friend can. Like
For sure.
he'll take 3-4 hours to do an hour episode edit. I'll take a half hour because I know what I'm listening for. I know where to cut, and then I'll just, go from there.
What, like, where do you see opportunity in for your business? I mean, I can't really call it a business. You get a little monetization from ads and different things. And do you still do voice acting and different things like
So
that?
I do it more so volunteer now, and
Right.
like I do the commercial work for like Breeze Thru, and I do their the pay stations, and
Right.
so that's
Yep.
part of my regular job. But I also enjoy the fact that it's out there, and then so I do that. But I also do all the different voice work for the network, my podcast, and then if
Yeah.
other people are like, I've had other podcasters come to me and hey, I need an impersonation of Cobra Commander, or I need an impersonation of like Kermit the Frog, and
All right,
and-
thanks. $30, please.
yeah, and
Or
they're
something,
just
or
like
free.
It's
Yeah.
I do it because it's fun. Like I don't
Interesting.
like.
So tell me about this podcast in Loveland. Is this something we can talk about? The
Yeah, so I used to produce Discovery Mountain.
Discovery Mountain.
Yeah, it's a faith-based podcast.
Okay.
So
Tell me more.
so it takes place in a fictional town of Discovery Mountain, and then
Okay.
there's a bunch of different characters come and go. I actually played the character that was the pastor, which was just my regular voice, and then I played the judge,
Okay.
which was this voice,
Okay.
and he was kind of stern and mean to everyone, and
Yeah.
and then I played the bumbling ranger, too, while I was there, and it kind of sounded like this.
And this was a standalone production from somebody?
It's from the Voice of Prophecy.
Oh, sure.
They're on the other side of the Chase Bank building.
Yep, I've seen that their sign there
Mm-hmm.
and stuff. I have no idea like what it's all about or whatever, but that was for you, that was just a job, or is that a significant in the faith-based perspective?
It was kind of both. I got it because of my faith, and then I worked there for 3.5 years, and then they also were the reason we were able to move out here.
Oh,
So that's what rescued me from the
Flint.
living in poverty and like having no job. And they were like, "How do you like the mountains?" And I was like, "Great," And so they helped move us out here.
so you were involved with that organization
Yeah.
back in Flint to some extent,
Yeah.
doing content production and communication stuff too?
No, that was just a friend of ours.
Yeah.
Was like, "Hey, they're hiring, and
Yeah.
you'd be perfect for this."
They need somebody like this, and you know about stuff like this.
Well, and previously to that, I worked for Glenn Beck.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh,
So
interesting.
between like 2016 and 2018, about a year and a half, I worked remotely from Michigan
Interesting.
for his organization.
For podcasty stuff and stuff
Podcasty
like
stuff,
that?
yeah.
Yeah.
So I started out as a content coordinator, writing content, like basically transcribing the audio clips and the video clips that were
Okay.
like 5 minutes to, like, this is the summary of this. Whereas like now those jobs are all gone because
Right,
AI
right.
can do it for you. Like
Right.
I use AI now to write like the titles and the descriptions for my episodes without ever having to do it. And then the podcast platforms, the RSS ones, they write the transcripts. So it's like, I don't have to do any of it.
Right.
Like,
It doesn't always get the words exactly right, but it's pretty damn close.
And so I can focus on what I enjoy doing is the creative part with the graphics and with the audio. And, so I don't have to worry about the technical, and just let it do it. But yeah, so I worked for him for a year and a half, and partly through it, I ended up becoming their radio operations manager, which was essentially I was in charge of the metrics, the ad spend. Not the ad spend, but like where they got placed, how, they needed the metrics for the ad guys to sell and
to know how much they should charge for new ads and whatnot, how many people are listening. Whatnot.
Yeah. And so because I'd done it before, like the guy that I took over from, he didn't really know like how to look into the metrics more so. And I did because I'd been doing it for years.
Right.
And so, so I built my own dashboard and like Microsoft, like in Excel. And then had all the data in there, and so it would have these graphs and like all this extravagant stuff. So I mean, I did that for a while. Then,
interesting. I actually just I've got broke Glenn Beck's pretty old book now, like 2010 probably or something like that, and it's like, hey, we've got $8 trillion in national debt. We're damn near broke. We're screwed. He was right. we're screwed more now with 39 trillion.
I don't think we're gonna get out of that one.
Take your 10 trillion. Yeah, no, not with the dollar still being reserve currency. Are you a student of that kind of stuff, like global macro politics stuff?
Not really. I mean, I kind of pay attention somewhat, but I don't really.
Yeah.
I kind of stick to my wheelhouse. Like I'm trying to more focus like locally. Too, because it's like, I can be aware of what's going on outside, but at the same time, like your biggest change.
What you can actually change is right here.
It's here, and so like even now, like I enjoy teaching kids about podcasting.
Oh yeah, I want to actually learn about that because that was a big endeavor from Breeze Thru just recently.
This episode is sponsored by Loco Think Tank. Loco Think Tank provides peer collaboration for business owners. We build smart, safe places to help business leaders navigate every stage of the business journey, and we love what we do and who we do it with. Our model features give-back-minded business veterans in the role of Loco facilitators, and we're always looking for abundance-minded individuals to add to our membership, facilitator team, Loco community, or to feature on this podcast. Listeners of this podcast who go on to become members of Loco Think Tank get their 6th month of membership for free. Just mention the Loco Experience podcast on your application. To learn more, visit our website at locothinktank.com. That's LOCO thinktank.com.
I want to come back in from the break and give a kudos to Seed and Spirit Distilling.
Okay.
I'm enjoying their bourbon whiskey and from the Forged in Fire line. And you are enjoying El Dorado's finest tap water and Coke.
Water. Yes, I've actually been enjoying the water a little bit more because I'm trying to make sure I don't have to get up.
See, I just take breaks when I want to. Tell me about like Coca-Cola. I was surprised you brought your own Coca-Cola to the office here. Is that your drink, or is it Coke? Or
that's just my drink of choice.
Yeah,
I pretty much do that.
Like. Sometimes water too, but
I actually drink a lot of water. I didn't used to, but my wife is a huge health nut, and rightfully so because she used to weigh like a lot.
Okay.
She used to weigh like 330 pounds.
Oh dang.
Yeah, and she lost like 180.
Oh dang. You were saying when we were coming back from the break that she hikes 14ers and stuff like that, which is like. I'm guessing you don't go out on them with most, or sometimes you do?
Yeah, sometimes we do. So when we first moved here, within 2 months, some of our friends that were here that helped us move in, they took her up on one of Mount Meeker.
Okay, yep.
Which is harder than Longs, I've heard.
It seems pretty intense.
I've not had any inclination to do Longs.
Doesn't matter. Yeah.
I've done some of the easier Class 1 mountains with her.
Yeah.
And so have my boys. They've done the same ones I've done.
Yeah.
But she's done 19 of the 14ers.
So I'm sorry for a sidebar here, but it seems like a bit of a story or an interesting, because your wife is your high school girlfriend.
Oh, yeah.
And so she wasn't 330 pounds then.
No.
And so like living in Michigan, she just kind of got big over time, and then Colorado skinnied her up, or like how's the story go?
So, being we were high school sweethearts, I have a metabolism like no other.
Right.
I don't gain weight.
Right.
I weigh the same thing. I'm wearing the same basic clothes. I mean, these are new, obviously, but like I'm wearing the same size as I wore in high school.
Really?
So like I don't change size,
Right,
and
right.
she did.
Right.
Like her family, like they don't have a high metabolism. She gains weight.
Yeah.
Practically looks at the food and it gains weight. You know.
Yeah.
And
you're like Mr. I eat everything.
Yeah.
And she's married and having kids and
yeah.
stuff like that.
So like when we got married, she weighed way more than I did, and then she had all these excuses and everything, and I was like, when we got back, she wanted to lose some weight, and I said she was trying to chicken out on it, and I said, well, if you don't do it now, when are you ever gonna do it?
Yeah.
And so she went back, and then she put in the hard work. No surgeries, nothing. She put in the hard work, and she still has to work hard at it. And
Yeah.
I have to work out now too, because like I'm ending up with joint issues. I'm almost 40.
Yeah.
And so like the sedentary life of just sitting in front of a computer all day, like it's starting to hit me. I have occasional gut health because of the food I ate when I was younger. So like I didn't have the weight, I just dealt with it differently.
Right. Yeah, you could drink a freaking 2-liter bottle of Coke every day, and
I could drink like 2 of them. I used to stay up and get like 2 hours of sleep every day, and now I stay up till like, if I record with my friend the podcast, like I'll stay up until like 10:30, maybe 11. On a normal night, I kind of go to bed about 9:30. I'm like,
wow.
And I get a normal amount of sleep. But she's like, you're killing your heart by staying up so late. Like, and I used to be such a gamer. Like I'd play like constantly. Like
my sister's husband, Rich, he used to drink like 16 Mountain Dews a day.
Oh wow.
Just 12-ounce cans or whatever. But all that caffeine, all that. But he was skinny, like as a rail. And you too, and other people, if they would drink 5 sodas a day, in a year they'd be super heavy, including me. Frankly, like I know when I consume a lot of sugar, it just goes straight to my tum tum.
Yeah.
But which is just such an indicator of how humans are created to metabolize differently.
Oh yeah.
Like your body apparently looks at all that sugar and just goes meh. I mean, it still doesn't nutritify you, which is why you're, needing to work on your joints and stuff like that now. But it also doesn't stick on you like it does for some.
No. Huh. So, no, I try to drink a lot more water now. And I drink, like, in the morning when I get up, I'll drink tea or, Yeah. So, I mean, I try to balance it out.
By the way, for listeners wondering, this is bourbon and a significant amount of water. It is not just straight bourbon of that scale.
And there's ice.
And there's ice, too.
Yeah.
We started talking about before the break that you've been teaching kids to do podcasty stuff. Let's dip into that.
So about 2 years ago, and and this is where Breeze Thru reaches into the community, and that's always been something I've loved about the company since being there, is like I didn't realize how involved they are and how much they really do care. And so I got to speak to the Boys and Girls Club in Loveland 2 years ago, and Wade went with me, and we talked to him, and they were having a whole thing on podcasting, and Wade's like, hey, do you want to go talk to these kids? And I'm like, yeah, let's go talk to them, And so they got to interview and ask questions, and I had a slide deck, and I was like, because I'd never done that before, and I was kind of panicking. I'm like, what do I do? I mean, they're like 10-year-olds, like
right. What's the right level of sophistication to share here?
And so I was kind of doing some stuff, and I glossed over some, and then they were like, have you talked to so-and-so? Have you talked to, and some of them they recognize, some of them they're like, I don't know who that is. Yeah. And I'm like, well, that's 20 years older than you. Like, so
right.
But I was able to kind of give them some of the building blocks of, like where to host, what kind of software, free and paid, all of these different distribution platforms, the difference between all of those.
Sure.
Different recording, podcast styles.
Which you probably had to research a fair bit, right? Just because you're like, I use what I use.
Yeah.
And I researched it when I bought it, but I've been on it for a while or whatever. Well,
funny enough, I've had all of this stuff written down for years. Like, I'm one of those weird people. I just write stuff down constantly. Okay. When I used to build websites, I used to have a notepad that was like
just a rolling scroll.
It was a rolling scroll, but it was like version 1.0, version 2.0, like, and I literally would go through, like, and if they had a name change, like, that was all listed, like, and I was so OCD about it, and I didn't realize that, like, this type of information I had in notebooks all over the place, and I was writing articles too, and posting on LinkedIn, and so I'm like, I have all of the information, I just have to compile it.
Yeah.
And so I started compiling it, and then the more I started doing it, I got to speak to the Kiwanis Club in Windsor last year. I got to speak to the Boys and Girls Club in Greeley.
Okay.
We're talking to them again in Greeley for they're building out a studio.
Yeah. That was what Wade mentioned to me a few weeks ago.
And like, I'm constantly tweaking and redoing mine at home, like, and so when I joined RSS.com to have our podcast hosted there in 2024, people were in their Slack channel asking a bunch of questions and all of these different things about podcasting, and they still do it. And I was answering all these questions, and I'm going, this is content gold right here.
Right.
What am I, what can I repurpose this information that I'm writing? And the question, and
right.
so I took it and I was rewriting them on, geekcastradio.com and putting them on LinkedIn. And then after a while, I'm like, I got enough here. I can write a book. So I did.
Okay.
And so I did that, and then I continually publish articles, and I'm kind of in the back of my mind, like...
Got a volume 2 coming.
Yeah.
So what's the book?
It's called Altered Audio.
Altered Audio.
Yeah, podcasting demystified.
I dig it.
So it's like, it's mostly because, like, I'm an indie podcaster. I'm not, like...
Totally.
Like, a lot of the corporations, like these big companies, have gotten involved.
iHeart owns a bunch of podcasts now. And stuff, right? Whatever.
Or like a lot of radio has bought up podcasting,
right.
or like even movie or TV studios, and to the point that like Netflix and like all these other shows that have turned video podcasts into like this. They're basically a TV show talk show,
right?
But they're dubbing it a podcast because the pay scales differently for the unions. So they had to have a modification to that this year, that if you're like a small network and you're your own indie thing, like, you're not beholden to the rules. If you're a Netflix or you're like a Warner Brothers, or, and
you're trying to call it a podcast,
it's a no-go. Like, it doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
And so like, I've been watching it very carefully on all these different changes that happen in the industry and trying to stay caught up because everything changes every day.
Yeah.
And so like, I'm kind of putting away information for a volume 2 eventually.
This is getting a little bigger picture, but just reflect, like, Hollywood had its first big hit in like a long time, but things are tough right now. Like, writers, screenwriters, editors, film people, like, everybody is working at restaurants or whatever else they can do to stay alive. Not all of them, but many, as is always the case in Hollywood, right? But the trends are definitely way down, and with AI pressure, obviously, and cost pressure from other studios. Like, what do you think is big media? Netflix has made a big splash. They've got this, what's that acquisition they're trying to make or did make?
They made an acquisition. They tried to with Paramount.
Yeah.
And then
that's still in limbo, maybe?
Well, they were trying to buy Warner Brothers.
Brothers,
and Paramount ended up getting them because they offered more per share.
Oh, they did? So Paramount ended up buying that.
Yeah. So now they're having to actually pony up the money. But because of the breakup of the acquisition that was already underway with Netflix and Warner Brothers, Paramount had to give, I think it's like $4 or $5 billion to Netflix as a breakup fee.
Really?
So Netflix made out like a bandit there.
Right.
And then
I got a bunch of money for not doing nothing.
Exactly. They're like, oh, okay, we'll step back. And then like, you spend the money and we just sit here and we collect money for, a process that, didn't matter, know? And so, but I kind of half-heartedly joke online a lot in our podcast. Like, I'll just throw out a nonchalant comment being sarcastic. And then sometimes it happens. Like, years ago, I made a joke about Disney buying Lucasfilm.
Yeah.
6 months later, somebody told me that I made the joke because I'd totally forgotten at that point. I was it doesn't matter. And then they sent me my original message. They're like, you said this in this episode.
Oh, interesting.
At this timestamp. And I'm like, because I was like, I didn't say that. And they're like, yeah, you did. And like, they're like, you said that they were going to buy them. And it was like 6 months later that it was like, oh, we're going to buy Lucasfilm.
Right.
And I've made little jokes like that. Oh, this show's going to get canceled. And then it gets canceled. Like,
so you got some foresight.
Yeah.
You're an industry trends guy.
Yeah. So I kind of pay attention to a lot of that.
So based on that, what's next chapters of Hollywood look like?
I've kind of half-heartedly joked that Netflix is going to buy Disney at some point.
Yeah.
And
I mean, seems very possible to me. I don't know how Disney makes a buck in the old ways anymore anyway. But Netflix could, because they could recycle all that stuff.
Well, and they're constantly raising the rates every couple of months anyway. Like, they're doing it again now.
With no overhead. Yeah, those fuckers.
Yeah.
Dude, isn't it the worst? Like, and now we have commercials in a lot of stuff.
Yep.
And it's like, do we actually have a better thing than we had when we had cable TV? Or broadcast TV over the airwaves with commercials?
So we made a joke about that in 2010. We were like, or 2010 or 2012. We were like, just let us buy a la carte what we want. Like,
totally.
So we got to that point through streaming.
Yep.
Now it's cable.
Right.
Because they're doing the ads and everything else again, and you're paying as much as you were through cable. It's like
totally.
It's like that joke of like the Captain Planet thing of like, by your powers combined, we're paying as much as cable, you know, and so like they essentially have, and like Tubi. I don't know if you're familiar with Tubi.
Yep.
They're having fun because Netflix announced, you know, on X that, oh, we're raising our rates, you know, $2 per plan. Tubi goes, we're raising our prices from free to free. Like, just, you know, and so they're just trolling them now, and it's but it's funny because like they've got
Tubi then relies on like more commercial type stuff.
They do commercials, but it's like, you know, you listen to like 4 or 5, and then they have a longer span between them.
Yeah.
And so like, but they have all of the old stuff from the 90s and the 80s that we grew up on, and so it's like, oh, this is enticing. Like, I'll watch the ads
maybe I should drop Netflix and sign up for Tubi.
Yeah, and I have both, but I only have Netflix because I have a press account, so I review content periodically.
Gotcha.
But
then you get it free that way.
Yeah. So
password. Just kidding.
Yeah.
So can we shift before we drift too far into fixing Hollywood? Because I don't think we're going to fix it. But
I don't think so either.
Is it going to be a thing?
I think it's going to change. I think it's going to change, definitely. I think the theater thing is, and Ryan Gosling made a comment about it with his Project Hail Mary, the movie that just came out, that it's not the viewer's job to go to the theaters. It's the movie industry to make movies that people want to actually go to the theater to see.
Yeah.
And when they're all reboots, sequels, and subpar quality, like, it's kind of difficult. Like, that's why I'm going back and watching old movies, because I'm not finding anything I really want to go see in theater, and I haven't in years.
Right.
So like, it's, and with AI, like, my brother wrote his own book, like his own novel.
Right.
And he's using AI to animate it.
Wow.
Like, turning it into a live action thing.
Right.
And he's like, he's got the assets and everything, and he's building it, putting it together, and it's like, it's a little clunky to start out with, but he's like, he's learning it, and the processes are getting better and better every day. He's like, at some point, I'm going to have a full movie here.
Right.
So
with 100 hours or 250 hours of time spent.
Yeah. And so he'll spend like a fraction of the cost of Hollywood to do the same thing. Right. And then people get mad. They're like, oh, it's AI slop. But it's not AI slop. It's like,
he's been crafting this thing every step of the way.
It's still a tool.
Yeah. Yep.
So, I mean, I feel like we're at this like precipice that like Hollywood either needs to put out, you know, up their standards a little bit, because I feel like they got complacent around COVID.
Yeah.
And then and give us, you know, more original stuff and stop trying to recycle what's already been out.
Yeah.
Because nostalgia only takes you so far.
They've tried to de-risk a lot.
Yeah.
Like, it used to be they tried to make a splash, kind of, but now it's more about, well, we had 2 previous versions of this movie and they did okay, so, you know, we can...
Or going back to a franchise or a television show that's ancient. Like, it's because it's got, it had numbers back then, but it's not necessarily a great idea to come back to something 20, 30 years later and try and, you know, go back to the well. It's like, it doesn't always
translate that well. For some reason, I flashed to, have you seen the, this is maybe getting slightly political, but the Brady Bunch episode where they're talking about the measles, how everybody just needs to get the measles from each other and get over it, kind of.
Yeah.
It's, you know, whatever. And it's like in such contrast to the, you know, we've got measles outbreaks and millions, thousands are going to die now. And I don't know. It's funny to see those old philosophical conversations.
Mm-hmm. Well, and that's how old Star Trek was.
Totally full of it.
But the new stuff's kind of, it's very surface level. It's not well written. It doesn't, the new stuff tells you how to think, or it tells you, it
What
tells
to
you,
think.
it tells you what to think. The old stuff caused you to actually have to think, because they would give you
Right.
both sides, and they're like, all right, you have to figure it out for yourself. We're not making like the
Right.
determination in the episode.
Yeah, if we exterminate this species just so that we can survive this planet, like, are we doing a good thing?
Yeah. So I mean, that like
Well, we want to survive, but like, there's a bunch more humans that would still continue to live on, whereas this species might be dead.
well, and that's why a lot of the old stuff was just better in general, is because it gave you that philosophical, both sides of the coin there.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like you can see the struggle of like they actually don't know like whether they made the right choice or not.
Yes, that doesn't happen
Everything's
ever anymore.
No. And
They're ultra confident that their way is the right.
yeah. There's no struggle, and so it's just kind of like, that's why again I go back to the old well of I'll watch the old stuff because there was something to cause me to think, like to pause.
Yeah, and ponder.
Yeah.
Sometimes change your mind about something even. Thank you to Purpose Driven Wealth of Thrivent for sponsoring our Purpose Driven Questions segment. At Purpose Driven Wealth, they believe financial clarity leads to a life of contentment and purpose. Their mission is to help guide clients using a values-driven, stewardship-based approach focused on provision, contentment, and enjoyment. With more than a century of experience, Thrivent helps individuals and families navigate life and business transitions and prepare for the future while creating space to live generously and give back in meaningful ways. To learn more about Purpose-Driven Wealth, please call 970-330-7411 for a complimentary initial consultation. And now, on to the questions. I want to try that last sentence better.
Yeah.
To learn more about Purpose-Driven Wealth, please call 970-330-7411 for a complimentary initial consultation. And now, on to the Purpose-Driven questions. We have a special segment, another sponsor promotion here I got to mention is Purpose-Driven Wealth.
Okay.
And so we have some purpose-driven questions from Purpose-Driven Wealth here in Northern Colorado, Clint Jasperson and his team. So the purpose-driven questions, I've got a bunch of them here. I'm not going to ask them all, but based on kind of where we've been here. So let's do this. When you've gone through a major life event, what is your kind of source of grounding? Is it kind of relational, spiritual, financial? Like, what is your reliance?
I would definitely say my faith.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does that go back
and my
to
wife.
children age? Were you raised in the
So
faithful household? You
I
said
was
you had
not.
a lot of
Yeah, I was not. We ended up going to church when I was a teenager. My stepdad wanted us to go, and so
Okay.
we would go. And I mean,
that was the first introduction.
it was
to
my
you
first
of it,
introduction.
really? Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I went during holidays with my grandma, but otherwise, like, I didn't really go. And then I was very involved with their media stuff, with the stuff on screen, and the
Okay.
so I did a lot of the.
You volunteered for the geek,
I volunteered.
the geek team on this
Yeah.
church.
Yeah, so I did that for a number of years, and then when I met my wife, like I went to her church for a while, and then we found another church, and then I got burned because I got too involved with stuff, and I just didn't like the way
They'll
it was
grind
going.
you up sometimes.
Yeah.
Just take advantage of every volunteer hour they can get.
And it wasn't like a great fit, like either. Like I always like that particular instance, and then years later, like I swore off, like I'm not going back. I'm not doing this.
It was
Like
during your move out to here.
yeah,
and
well,
stuff even?
before that actually.
Okay.
And then we met some friends when we moved, and it was about 2015 ish. Yeah.
Okay.
And my wife was having us go to the park, take our son to the park, and our other one was, in a
Stroller.
Yeah. And so he was like a couple months old. And I was playing with my oldest in the jungle gym and everything. And my wife ended up meeting a pastor's wife, unbeknownst to her, and the kid's drooling and everything. And
Sure.
so they struck up a conversation, struck up a friendship, and then we got to know them. And so it kind of it took us onto this journey. And but it's the most genuine group of people. So yeah.
And have you engaged here?
Yeah.
So the voice of truth,
The Voice of Prophecy.
voice of prophecy.
Yep.
I'm sorry.
It's the same denomination as what we were when we left Michigan.
And what? How do they? Are they like? How do they fit into the spectrum of churches out there? Are they evangelical kind of style? It's a Protestant church?
Yeah, it's very much that, and we're Seventh-day Adventists, so we like honor the Sabbath on Saturdays. So we go to church on Saturday instead of Sunday.
Sure.
So
yeah, we in North Dakota, where I'm raised, we had a fairly significant Seventh-day Adventist population. Some of the best farmers in the county actually were Seventh-day Adventists. So,
but they're all good people, and and mean well. And so like we just did our Easter program at our church over the weekend. And, we put on this huge production.
Yeah.
Of there's 200 volunteers.
So do you still go to church on Sundays? You go to church on Saturdays.
Saturdays.
So then Saturday is no work except for go to church kind of thing.
Yeah, pretty much.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, we did our Easter program, and I usually do some acting with it or behind the scenes stuff for that.
Cool.
But,
yeah, I'm sure. If they find out about your talents, I'm sure they're eager to grab onto them.
100%.
The other question I wanted to pull from this list was what are your thoughts on legacy? You got these two boys, obviously, and a podcast network kind of thing. But how do you reflect on that as it pertains, especially to your craft in the podcast space?
Yeah. So as far as legacy with my kids, I obviously want to put forth the best, foot. I've been laid off multiple times, and my oldest tends to get a little fiery about it.
Okay.
Because he's seen what it does to me, and my wife, and it is. It is a struggle for everyone in the house, not just the one it happened to. And so I tried to be, my son would be very vindictive about it. And that's kind of the attitude that people back home would have on certain things. And so I've really, thankfully, between my faith and my wife, bless her heart, is the most optimistic person I know.
Awesome.
And so it's rubbed off on me over the years. And I've learned that, it's better to, just, it happened. It sucks. Move on. So I try to teach that to my kids. It's okay to be upset. Don't simmer in it. What can you learn from it? How can you move on?
Yeah.
And then go from there. And so even with podcasting, I've hit this point where I've talked about a lot of different things over the years.
Right.
And I'm like, what can I reasonably pass on to people up and coming in it? Because that's
part of the book, obviously.
Yeah,
right?
and that's part of it. It's it's no gatekeeping. It's staying indie. It's also giving people tools of stuff for $15 you can get a book, and it gives you all the answers for everything. And it tells you all the different distribution platforms, different podcasts to listen to, different newsletters, different places to get the hosting, and my goal with it was to be if you want to spend money, these are options. If you don't want to spend money, these are your options. And it's
right.
So a lot of people coming into podcasting think you need an XLR microphone like this, or you think you need a
the whole set was $600,
or a soundboard or things like that. They think that you need all of this stuff, to get started. And it's well, you can start with your phone.
Yeah.
You can buy a $50 USB microphone.
Yeah, 2 Bluetooth lapel microphones. You could have
exactly
a 2-person podcast.
Yeah. So there's all different options for all what you're needing, and there's nothing that says you can't evolve or get something more. And so I try to give people the tools of you don't ignore everything about it, what everybody's telling you of all this special gear. If you have you have a name in mind, you have your focus, what you want to talk about. What are you trying to teach people about? And then you go from there. Yeah. The gear is, you can, and as long as you have a quiet room too, you can sit in your closet and record.
Totally.
With coats and, the more cluttered the room, actually, the better, because you've got all of these things to diffuse the noise.
I was talking with my landlord, actually, Moses, earlier today, and about just the choose your adventureness of life. Kind of, there's so many, you can't even imagine the number of different ways my life would have turned out differently if I had made this decision instead of that one or whatever. And what I'm hearing from you a little bit is even in that podcast space, choose your adventure and know that you don't have to stay on that same path because there's a whole bunch of different places to turn.
Mm-hmm. And that's the thing with life all the way around. Everything is a choose your own adventure.
Right.
You choose one branch doesn't mean you'll never hit this branch. You may hit it later. You may never hit that one. You may hit a better option.
Some stuff is better for you. Some stuff is less good, right?
Yeah.
Whiskey is arguably one of those that's less good for you, but I like it. I wanted to ask about. I wanted to thank Breeze Thru actually for being one of the sponsors of the Local Pulse podcast. Have you listened to that yet?
I have not. I've been meaning to though.
So it comes out every Monday.
Okay.
Every Monday morning, and that's me and Ben's wife, Kelsey, covering the local news and nonprofits and things like that. And Breeze Thru sponsors our community supporting community segment, which is great. Like I love Breeze Thru for that reason, frankly. Not because they give us money, but because they have that tone of like we're going to just support community out there.
And we're happy to do it.
People know we wash cars, but being something, and that was the other thing I wanted to give kudos on is really the culture of your organization seems to be a lot like it's a leadership development organization that washes cars.
Yeah. And that's what I love about it is there's always something that they're trying to teach you. Like you can make a mistake and they're like, okay, you did make a mistake.
Yep.
What can you learn from it? How can we go from here? It's like, it's not like oh,
you're on the edge. You're on thin ice there, Bobby.
No. But they also do things where they help you with like continuing education. They have like a management apprenticeship program for people, in the company. I mean, we even have employee housing. I mean,
I learned about that when I was down there last week.
Yeah,
which
so
is
I mean,
super cool.
There's so many perks. Like they really do care. Like there's an entire like a Breeze Thru Foundation fund for employees that it's there as like a.
If they come on hard times.
It's like
or whatever.
And they can apply for it and say, hey, like this is what's
cool.
And so like there's all these different ways of like building up, and empowering the employees, to grow in life. Like there's even things, even if it's not a monetary value, there's things where they'll teach them, budgeting or help them with all these different things. And so, I mean, it's I just love being a part of an organization that does that.
Yeah, I dig that. The namesake of this podcast, or what else do you want to talk about before we get to the closing segment? Is there anything we missed?
I don't know if there's anything we missed. Do you have any other questions for me?
Well, the last segment is the Loco experience.
Okay.
And that's the craziest experience of your lifetime that you're willing to share.
Okay.
But I don't want to leave anything out that you wanted to make sure we talked about either. I guess tips for you. You kind of gave some tips already to those aspiring podcasters. Oh, let's talk about legacy as it relates to your family a little bit more. I guess you talked a little bit about the example to the boys of of resiliency. Really, I suppose is kind of part of the message. I heard.
And just not being bitter. Like,
yeah.
Because I grew up with a lot of that. Like, I mean, my parents got divorced when I was young, and I had a lot of reasons to be bitter. And
how did you get over it?
Honestly, I just buried myself into my hobbies and my personas and stuff. And it gave me joy. And I mean, the voices, that was always something I did. I used to write. I've always enjoyed doing that.
Had this creative bursting coming from your mind in a lot of ways.
Yeah. So I mean, I used to record myself in front of a video camera and a tape recorder.
Yeah.
Younger kids won't know what those are, but
Right.
Yeah. So I mean, I used to do all that, write my own stories, and
wow.
Now I 3D print stuff, and
So you're constantly bursting with creativity. Virtually. As long as you're feeding the right kind of stuff into the eye holes and the ear holes and stuff like that, the new stuff comes out of the mouth hole.
Oh, I love learning new stuff.
Yeah.
I love learning new stuff, and I love just building on the creativity. And
what's your wife's name?
Mary.
You'll probably listen to this, Mary. And what was it that connected you guys? Because it doesn't sound like she was like a super big nerd.
No, still not. But sometimes it drives her nuts because she'll go into my office and she's like, "You have way too much stuff."
Right.
Because I have a whole cabinet of all of my different little collectibles.
Yeah, Star Wars and Pokemons and Transformers especially.
There's a ton of Transformers. There's Power Rangers. There's Star Trek. There's Batman. There's I have Hot Wheels, Dragon Ball Z, all that stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, it drives her nuts a little bit. No, so in gym class, actually, she came up to me because she's got this motto. It's a friend or a stranger is a friend you haven't met yet.
Yeah.
I was the friend or the stranger at that point.
Yeah.
Because I was a senior. I sat by myself in gym class, and I was the only senior in there. And she felt bad for me because I was sitting by myself. So she came up and talked to me, and she's like, "Hi, my name's Mary. What's your name?" And I was like, Steve. And then she's like, "Hey," and then we just started hanging out more and more in class. And then it grew into a really good friendship. And then we'd call each other. And then, it eventually, we got together and got married. And like even the hat, like she.
You're the Steve.
Yeah, the Steve. There was a radio commercial when I was in high school. And it was, I don't even remember what it was about. My friends heard it, and it was like, he referred to himself in the third person. He was like, the Steve doesn't do this. The Steve does this.
I remember that commercial
and
slightly.
I'm like, and I'm trying to find it. I just don't even know where it's at anymore. Like, I wish I could find it somewhere. But it was hilarious because my friends started calling me the Steve. And so she made me a hat. And this is the third one. Like, the first one met its end years ago. The second one didn't last as long, but it's sitting on my shelf at home. Like, it's frayed and, like, just... Because I wear it all the time.
Yeah. After some years of AI stuff, you're going to have to get, like, the original Steve hat.
Well, it's funny because I can go anywhere now, and I wear this hat, and nobody has a hat with their name on it. Nobody has and except for my family. Like, we made a hat a couple of years ago with their name on it. It's a tan hat, and it says and then their names. And then my wife has a visor that's tan and has her name on it too. And so, like, it's a joke now. Like, when we go hiking,
it's a whole family tradition.
Yeah. So when we go hiking, we all wear the hats. And so, like, but when I go out to, like, sometimes I'll go out to eat or something and, or go somewhere and they'll be like, "What's the name?" And I just,
and there's a Burger Steve. The Steve is a burger at the Trailhead Tavern, I believe.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, it's the Burger Steve or the Chicken Steve. It might be it's at the Stakeout Saloon.
Oh, that's interesting.
Over on Mountain Avenue, and the Steve is basically a burger or a grilled chicken sandwich with bacon, cheddar, avocado, I believe.
Oh, that's funny.
Which is a nice burger or a nice chicken sandwich. This is a nice crossover
that's cool.
there. So anyway, that's the Steve.
The Steve.
You might check in with them sometime and see if I would just wear your hat in there.
Just go in there as a
brand and be like,
deal.
Can I get
this?
They'd be like, chicken or beef? Anyway,
that's funny.
The Loco experience, the craziest experience that you've had in your lifetime that you're willing to share. And you've already said you don't really want a hot sauce. You don't drink alcohol, period. Like,
I don't.
Is it faith forbidden for Seventh Day?
It is, but...
Do you drink wine for communion? That's like not even that.
No, it's like a grape juice.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I once upon a time before,
got more serious about it.
Yeah, we did drink a little bit, but yeah, I'm like, I don't necessarily miss it. I don't have anything against people that do it. I just, I mean,
that's one of the Loco experience options is that bottle there on the right is like a mix of gin and whiskey and tequila and whizcal. And so that's a crazy experience or a hot sauce crazy experience, but you're also not really interested in that. So we'll just jump into the story. The craziest story that you are willing to tell our listeners that your wife won't be too mad about. Do you have any crazy stories? Any near-death experiences?
I've had lots of those.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that sounds pretty crazy.
Yeah, because I used to stay up till odd hours of the night. There was a point I used to work McDonald's in the morning. I would be there at 5 a.m. at open.
Okay.
And I worked with my wife, too, for a while through part of high school and then after. And I would work... this was before I worked the car dealership, and then I worked Little Caesars, and so I'd work tail ends of... and I was supposed to sleep during the day.
Right.
And at night if I had the option, but most of the time I stayed up too late. I hit black ice one night driving across town, and it was like a 30-minute drive, and I was exhausted. Had no business being on the road, and I was 18. And my vehicle was actually in the shop because when I went and visited my mom, because I didn't live at home anymore, their car slid out of the driveway and dented the side of my truck.
Okay.
So it was in the shop. So I was borrowing my stepmom's car.
Okay.
Which was like a 1990 Cavalier.
Okay.
And I wrapped it around a telephone pole.
Oh.
And
like spun and then went off the road.
It spun out. No, it actually just kind of careened into a telephone pole that was on the side of the road, because the road was like it was like this wide.
Yeah.
And the pole was like right here, and I just went and it just like accordioned like one side of the vehicle.
Dang.
And Yeah, so that was one near death. The other one was my friends and I used to do all kinds of stupid stuff in high school and driving. Whether it be using squirt guns out the back of a hatch of a car and throwing flower balls at the car.
Dangerous, silly
stupid stuff. Or like driving around in the parking lot at the school.
Like flower balls, like a bag full of flour? Oh, yeah, you land that someone's windshield. It's kind of annoying, probably.
Yeah, well, it doesn't come off when it's wet.
Right.
So, and we had like one of those old keyboards with the coiled, kind of like this.
Okay.
On the keyboards, and we used it to keep the hatch so that it would not latch and it would just spring up and down.
Oh, sure.
We would hold the keyboard. And we got, that was something stupid. And then I was holding on to the back of my friend's Dodge Neon in the back of a parking lot, and he was seeing how fast he could get it without me flying off.
Oh.
And it was stupid stuff. My wife,
but you flew off?
I flew off.
But didn't...
I got skinned up a little bit.
Dang.
I bounced. I mean, I had a varsity jacket on, had some like the zip off blue jeans, which they don't make those anymore. But yeah, I tore that up and had my backpack on. Somehow I didn't get hurt.
Wow.
Like more than that. Just skinned my knees. It was fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, I bounced and they were like, "Man, I thought you died." Like, I was like, "Yeah, I should have." But yeah, I used to do a lot of stupid stuff in high school, and then I kind of grew out of it. And my wife's like, "No," and then I had 6 speeding tickets in Michigan, and thankfully nothing here.
So you were a bit of a Heckian, maybe not a hellion, but a Heckian for a while.
Yeah, I figured out to get an 89 S15 pickup to go 100 miles an hour on the expressway, and
nice.
I got a G6 convertible to 126 when I worked at the car dealership before the limiter hit it. But yeah, like after I worked there, I didn't like once I had kids, I accidentally spun out on the expressway. When my son was like 6 months old, my oldest, and it was an accident. Like I wasn't speeding. I hit black ice and it spun out. Terrified me.
You're like I'm never going to.
It did a 360 and it went right back, and I was able to keep going.
Right.
But I was so terrified after that. Like
really, just changed your whole mentality about risk once you had kids.
Well, because I'm like, I have a kid. Like I have another life in the car besides myself. Like it caused me to grow up a lot faster.
Yeah,
so now
not
I'm
just
like
depending on you, but also in the car in that case.
Yeah. So now I'm like very like cautious because I'm like I gotta protect my family. Like in myself too. But like you just
I think it.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's a lot of learning stuff along the way. Everybody does stupid stuff in high school and learns from it.
It's
hopefully.
True. Yeah, hopefully. That's the goal, right? Any questions for me before we wrap this up? If people want to find, where do they find the GeekCast? GeekCast Radio Network?
Yeah. So, that's geekcastradio.com.
Okay.
And then a lot of the social platforms, it's GeekCast Radio Network.
And then your main Transformers podcast is... At least in
it's on there.
Many regular, but it's there. But it's also on like Spotify or things.
It's
like
on
that.
Everything. Yeah.
And what's that called?
All Things Transformers.
All Things Transformers.
Yep.
And do you have other content out there where you like share more of the voices and stuff like that? Is there a channel out there, or is it just on the website? Mostly?
It's just kind of on the website. Like I
find it here and there.
Yeah. Occasionally, I'll do just a random voice on the stuff. Like we did a top 100. Transformers Countdown years ago, and I did a lot of the voices of like, because in between we'll do like 100, 99, and I do all those voices, but then I would do like a Transformer voice.
I'm gonna be thinking about where in the community else you need to plug in. It's not quite like as a MC for a nonprofit or whatever, but like I don't know, it's a very interesting and unusual skill to be able to project that kind of voice memory to people.
Yeah,
and it feels like a thing best done in person in some ways.
Oh, 100%. I love doing it. Like, I've run into kids that have heard me doing the other voices for the audio drama, and I'll just start rolling through them, and they're like,
right, exactly.
My kids after a while, like they were like, "Dad, stop! It's not fun anymore."
Well, if you would, send me any links that you would like me to include on this podcast description. So if people want to hear some of that content creation out there that you especially dig, we'll make a post. And thanks for taking the time to share with me today.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's been a lot of fun.
All right, Godspeed, Steve. See you next time.